Hello everyone, today we are presenting our social media strategy for Medibank. These are our group members. On 20 September 2022, Optus officially announced that it has been cyber attacked, causing its user personal data breach of 9.8 million. This chart counts Optus data from different tabs. Around 97% of Optus posts were replied to by other users for providing technical support, with only 2.96% being Optus original tweets and 0.05% being quote tweets. The average number of interactions was only around 1.7, and over 60% of the posts had no engagement at all. The posting frequency has decreased by nearly 24%, from a daily average of 25.6 to 20.24 after the breach. Though the percentage of the posts with high interactions seems to be higher before the hack. There was also 62.3% of posts that had no engagement. After the breach, the average number of engagements decreased from 1.86 to 1.53 per post, risen by a lower concentration in the high engagement levels posts. Finally, this chart counts Optus reply to customer by different ways. Not only Optus had increased the frequency of attaching links with posts, but the average number of engagements for the post with links has also increased by 52.33% compared to the result before the data breach. The increased engagement in the post with link could be reasoned by the wide usage of Optus CEO statement towards the actions and attitudes for reducing the damages from the cyber attack, which further proves the users raising attention on the issues. Let's move to Lin-Pan.
Thank you, Mingyu. Next, I will go over Medibank's data performance on Twitter. Before the cyber attack, Medibank's updates were not getting attention from consumers. Most were focused on replying to users, and there was a significant increase after the attack of hack. The number of tweets increased by 633%. For media type, post with text and links has a big increase in average engagement. Most of Medibank's response was to apologize for the data breach. This reflects the company's intention to concentrate on responding to customers through social media to resolve issues after the data breach. Next, I will talk about analysis of customer engagement on Twitter. Firstly, for the type of engagement performed by customers of Medibank, mostly are concentrated in replied and retweeted. The type of media mainly from post-text. After the cyber attack, all the tabs increased dramatically, especially in the number of replies. Next, by analyzing output data, we can see that the main way customers interact is by replying to the tweets. Most of customers mainly interact with the text, and the engagement tab focus on replies. The users who post a photo are the most involved with media tab, which focus on the form of tweets. After the cyber attack, there was a big difference, especially in number of replies, and the increase in percentage of quotes and retweeted. By comparing the two companies, it can be seen that before experiencing the cyber attack, their user engagement data was not high, mostly focused on the user replies. After suffering the cyber attack, customer engagement increased a lot in different forms, and the content was mainly about customer disappointed and the critical criticism of the privacy breach. Next, this part is to show the process of importing and cleaning the data, such as merging the engagement items and filtering out the dates. The next slide shows the process of sentiment analysis. And finally, the results of sentiment analysis are shown in the figure below. The ratio of negative to positive user sentiment for Medibank is 245 to 6,952. Okay, let's move on the next part.
When analyzed, two companies replied, code and retweet through Dodo.xl. First is customer reply of Medibank. The vertices shows a total of 1,077 unique IDs. The maximum geodesic distance is 14. The each progression required 4 people. In both in and out degree, the average reply volume is 1.164. The most influential users is Jeremy Craig, is former cybersecurity journalist. Next one is code. Total ages is 108. Average justice distance is 2.94, which means each paragraph requires about 3 people. The inverse density is far below reply. The great impact users Tobin Mercury. Next page. The picture shows the individual ID of the retweet is 1,248, and the average delivery is 4 people, the same as the reply. The most influencer is the same ID as the reply and has very specificity. Obtuse has a relatively large amount of data, with a total of 6,116 IDs, and each progression requires about 4 people, and their odd degree number is 356. The top 3 users all occupy a high number of the responsibles. The first user is Red Ruby 17, is concentrated in the lower part, and the second is MF, which is concentrated in the upper left. This means the customer groups who replied to their 2 ideas are different. The third key influence is the donut. His concentrated area is the very center and has a large extension. It shows that his tutor reply has a wide range of customer groups, rather than focusing on a certain area. The code of obtuse, the average delivery speed is 3% slower. The key influences in retweets is MF, which is with 239 odd degree compared to the second ID with a significant gap. The tweeters involve 3,777 users with 4,504 tweeters, spreading first in big scope and the speed. Next page. The top 3 key influencers are similar. This means of the retweet focus more on the previous key impact influencers. Compare these 2 companies. Obtuse has the better social media strategy. Firstly, within 6 months, Obtuse has about 13 times as many posts as the Medibank, and 4 times number of tweets the Medibank. Secondly, Obtuse key influencers has spread across multiple users, while Medibank's key influencers are concentrated in a small number of users. Medibank's key influencers were more easily to spread negative information during the crisis. Last point is Obtuse took even nice time to put the crisis to rest, so its customers sensitive more stable. But the Medibank's responsible was more about apologize and the coverage of the investigation into the accident, and its customer sensitive more negative. Next part.
Well, next I will share 3 considerations for Medibank. The first consideration is responding customer at the right time and frequency. First, Medibank could tell the customer within 24 hours that it has received the feedback and look into it. Medibank could take the time to confirm a crisis before issuing a formal announcement. A calm attitude can facilitate the credibility of the brand. Second, Medibank could try to respond to customers between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Tuesdays to Thursdays to get a higher user engagement. If Medibank wants to promote a positive post, responding customers on weekend may have a better result. Finally, we don't recommend responding customers too often. Medibank should provide more contents that are high quality and meet customers' needs. The second consideration is preparing specific contents for crisis. Apologizing is common practice, but it is not the optimal strategy. Instead, Medibank could try to offer more substantial contents to customers. Studies have shown that when a brand is under the cyber attack, customers want to get more information, procedures, policies, and measures to help them minimize their losses. Medibank could try to prepare for this in advance. Additionally, posting contents in our visual media may be useful to reduce the negative sentiment during a brand crisis. Posting pictures and videos could get more likes, and this could promote the spread of positive and useful information. Studies also show that video content not only reduces the negative feedback, but also promotes the positive interactions. The third consideration is to actively manage the spread of negative sentiments. Brands would face a great exposure of risk if organizations cannot properly handle the complaints from clients. However, proactive monitoring the intervention of negative word of mouth would have a positive impact on how customers evaluate a brand. In terms of monitoring, digital platforms and artificial intelligence takes are useful tools for sentiment monitoring. Medibank could try to build a digital team. As for intervention, Medibank could try to manage the key influences. It may be effective to offset negative sentiments with the contents generated by the advocate of brands. It is important that use key influences may require consideration of the moral hazard of intended manipulation. Finally, positive trend can be reinforced if Medibank responds more positive feedback. We hope this free consideration and 9 tips will help Medibank to increase positive engagement during a crisis. Next, Rowan will give you more detail about the strategy.
The primary purposes of the new social media strategy are for enhancing the customer and brand relationships and coping with potential future PR crises. According to research articles, the level of engagement is positively related to customer trust, loyalty, satisfaction, and positive word of mouth. Therefore, the strategy's performance indicator is the average engagement number per post, which is the average of the sum of each post likes, comments, replies, and quotes. You adjust the brand's posting frequency and time schedule and increases the usage of original tweets and media attachment to maintain the level of every engagement. The strategy aims to maintain the current level of every engagement over the next 6 months, which is the regular reporting period for Medibank. The desired average number of interactions is 4 per post, which was the engagement level after the data breach. The strategy targeted its mass audience for advertising and providing customer services. The social media platform used for implementing the strategy is Twitter, because of its trending characteristic of macro-blogging that enables the brand to utilize a variety of media formats to build direct interaction with its audience. For implementing the strategy, Medibank should first consider increasing its posting frequency. As shown in research, a higher frequency of posting on Twitter is more effective for attracting users and increasing the brand overall engagement. As suggested by statistics, the optimal daily frequency of posting on Twitter is around 15, including original tweets, quotes, and replies. Medibank should also adopt a specific schedule for posting. Statistics found that just advertisement and branding content posts that made on Wednesday or during business hours have relatively higher average engagement compared to others. Whereas those customer-oriented posts, namely the reply-to type of posts, are better off being made on weekend. Medibank should also adjust the content in posts on Twitter. You could utilize a regional tweet type of post to attract more interactions. The graph summarizes the top 8 type of content that audience wanted to see from brands. As a health insurance provider, Medibank should consider to post more tweets that provide marketing activities, such as promotions, to increase interactions. You may also invite its customers to share their user experiences with Medibank's product and services. Other than changing the content of posts, the brand should also increase the usage of media attachment to increase engagement. As shown in the graph, the audience found that posts with videos and images are more engaging compared to plain text type of posts. Thus, you may use short-form videos to cover the content like health education, disease prevention, and instruction for activating insurance. In coping with potential future PR crises, Medibank should first update its attitude and action toward the incident as soon as possible. You may need to adjust the way it replies to other users. By learning from Optus, you may refer its follower to direct message for providing troubleshooting services. The action may decrease the chance of further spreading the negative messages under the use of original tweets and providing more comprehensive customer services in the private chats. You should take priority to contact those impacted influential users. As shown by the section A2.3, the appears to have specific users with significant influence but lead the trend of public opinions. Therefore, Medibank could first contact those users to provide them with the timely updates and compensation to reduce the possibility of complaining and causing a negative word of mouth to spread. This is the end of our presentation. Thanks for listening.